Hello, everyone from YouTube. Welcome to the fifth podcast, and thank you for everyone joining us today from stream and YouTube. If you guys want, say hi. And today we're joined by Recc from Ambition, Tiber from Life, and Syllara also from Life. And I'll just have them go over their intros. Yeah, we'll have Recc, Tiber, and then Syllara go introduce themselves real quick before we get started. All right, so Recc, Tiber, and Syllara.
I can go first. I'm Recc, in-game Recc, REC, in Ambition, Season 2, Rank 1. The thing you see when you go to Hall of Fame, you know?
All right,
And,
all right, all right.
All
Flex
right,
it
all
up,
right.
flex it
Yeah,
up.
flex.
no, but yeah, that's basically it.
Recc also applied to life, but we denied him because he doesn't use speds. So can't be
Yeah,
too
it was
proud
a little disappointing, but what can I say? I'll try better next time.
of it.
Is that all?
I'm Tiber. Oh yeah, is that all?
No. I was wondering if Rec was done.
Oh yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Hi, I am Tiber. In-game Tiber Septum. Discord, also Tiber Septum. Join the official Epic 7 Discord, by the way. There's
Right.
like some leaf giveaways and whatnot. Enough with the plugs. Oh, another thing. Life is still recruiting, by the way. We're full.
I knew it.
But if
I
you're
saw that
really
coming.
good, but if you're really good, we'll make room. But yeah, I'm Tiber. That's pretty much it. So
Yeah, this is Syllara, and I started off a free to play, and then I was in one of the main channels when Derp kind of found me, and then he asked me if I wanted to be in life. I was like, no, I'd rather be more casual. Your life are too try hard for me. And then,
Whoa.
we are
and then
not
after a
tryhard.
little bit deeper conversation, I figured, oh wow, life is actually pretty casual. You know,
We are very,
somebody
very
who wants to be casual. So I decided to give it a shot, be a little bit more competitive. Currently, I mean, last season 2 arena, I'm top 30. I'm not a big spender. Probably leaf pack here and there. Sometimes poke for a banner if I didn't get it. But overall, I just play for fun. I enjoyed
um,
I enjoyed the grind. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Casual rank
cool.
2
And
guild.
yeah, quick note about that. Like a lot of people associate life as like this mega whale guild. That's actually not very okay. It's very true, but a lot of our best players, like Hongi, like Syllara, are relatively free to play slash dolphiny. Like Hongi does not spend that much, and he's one of the best players in the game. So
Yeah, very low spenders.
money isn't everything. It's just a lot, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it
you
does
get
help. Spending a little bit does help, but you don't need a lot of money to be very good at the game.
exactly. And yes, people have spent more than 100K in life,
yeah.
but yeah, a lot of people are.
All right. Well, thank you for those intros. And yeah, one day I need to see if I can get Hongyo on the podcast also. But
It's conditional on you joining live, Gabe.
whoa. Oh boy.
We've
Okay.
got every other streamer.
Yeah, we're just missing you.
Yeah, dude. Padre joined. Jadai joined. Derp's there. It's like, god dang. Sledley's there. Peppy's
Wombo,
there.
Peppy,
Yeah. What?
everyone.
Dude, everyone's in.
Well, not everyone, but
Most of the
if you're a
streamers I
streamer
know.
and you're watching, send an application.
Next thing you know,
DM
life
me
is
to apply.
pure streamer guild. All right, let's open up the first topic here, and we'll get started. Yeah. Thoughts wise, you guys decide upon yourselves. If you have something to say, go for it, and let's get some talk going. So, first topic: thoughts on the new Hall of Trials boss exclusive artifacts. You know, um, let's just talk about the boss first. Have you guys tried it at all? Um, what do you think of it? A lot harder than Kron or um, whatnot?
For me, I think I'm like a lot of players. PVE wise, I do enjoy the content, but I'm not super try hard trying to get triple S. So for me, once I get a team going, I can get like a S. is I think it's 21 points instead of 25.
Yeah.
To me, it's good enough. You only need to do a few runs to get the exclusive equipment you want. Anyways, I'm not trying to get like perfect exclusive equipment in every slot. So whatever I can get a hold of that has the correct skill, I just stick to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm fairly easygoing with that.
Yeah, I think when it originally came out, I was like extremely against it. Like we already have to do so many things like a week, and I mean, speaking from like a whale perspective, if you also if the dynamic of like the halls of trials was you also had to purchase like the 6 tokens every week, and you had to do this thing 9 times every week, and like if you don't land like whatever the buff is debuff is during like whichever week it is, you're like you can't obtain triple S. Like that's how like I approached it when it originally came out because that's what most of the other content is in the game.
Mhm.
But they managed to make it so that it's not really obligatory to do it. I mean, I only did it the first week. I did it 11 times the first week because they give you those 2 for free,
Oh
and then
my
I
god.
didn't do it at all like all the weeks until Nilgal came out.
Dedication.
And I didn't even realize like you can just go in with like 2-star fodder, get like a D, get 17 of the currency, and just like get out like in
Yeah.
like 2 minutes. Um, so I think like the fact that triple S is 25 and D is 17 is good for like the health of the game. Like, I think Smilegate knew that they didn't really want to like burn you out too hard.
Mhm.
100%. And also like the recent introduction of being able to craft to get to that guaranteed max roll
Yeah.
on whatever unique artifact that you want. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's more like bragging rights. I don't
Yeah.
think you need it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Like to transition on to this rotation's exclusive artifacts, Euphine definitely don't need the maximum like effectiveness. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Land of silence, land an armor break, that's cool, land a strip. But in this meta right now, especially focused on more of the Charles SSB Fallen Cecilia meta, Euphine being that very strong nuker, and having that big extra damage buff on skill one, that is insane.
Yeah, I think Euphine is pretty. She's like pretty above the bar. I think for the nap, and then like the S1 artifact, it just makes it even more so.
100%, 100%.
Are you using her currently, Rec?
Personally, no, but I think she's a pretty good answer to like the current meta game.
Mhm.
100%.
I know like some guild. I think it's like more of like a guild thing. Like I think like all the guilds like they go around, they find their answers to like certain teams, and then they like encourage like their whole guild to build it. So some guilds have a lot of Euphines, some guilds have none, stuff like.
Meanwhile,
I
Rife
mean,
has all
she's
the
the wife.
assassin
Yeah.
coalies.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
do. We love our assassin coalies. But Euphine pretty waifu, not gonna lie. Everyone
I
should
know
build her no matter
I know
what.
Tiber runs it. I run Euphine from time
Yes,
to time.
yes. I
Yeah.
run a very, very heavy damage Euphine. 4200 attack, 320 crit damage. She's very, very like she's meant to one shot stuff. Um, I don't know. Like I think she's very good, and her skill one damage buffed artifact is amazing, especially for people who are using that Oxlots variant, which I've seen a lot of streamers do as well. With the soul burn into S3 S1.
Mhm.
Um, the counter attack, the counter unity set with that extend buff invincibility cheese, I find that utterly hilarious.
Yeah.
And who knows? Like maybe we're gonna get into like some very end game PvE content that's gonna come out, and you're gonna have some kind of cheese to beat it. I think finding stuff like that is really cool. I don't recommend it for competitive use. I tried a 23k HP Euphine on defense once, and that artifact would be great for it. It didn't work. In Guild War,
Didn't do
it did no,
anything.
it didn't do
Yeah.
anything. And like people know Wombo, right? Like my roommate last year, like he was just like, "How are you gonna kill anything?" I'm just like, "Oh yeah, right." Um, so yeah,
that's a pretty good point actually. The Smile Gate is basically like you're gonna have to attach the spell to almost every single boss they make from now on. On the oh, I don't know if Smilegate ever is gonna make like something like release day, like automaton tower, like 100 level style
Yeah.
difficulty stuff again.
Yeah.
But if they ever make something like super difficult, it has to have the spell, or you could cheese it with Euphine with like
Mhm.
a permanent immortality. Or
100%. Yeah, and I didn't really appreciate like the big problem with Tower 100, right? Like it was doable. The issue was it was doable with a very specific set of units. Like if you had that Dark Harvest Crow,
Yeah.
if you had Temissaria, then you were fine. But I don't want having Euphine being the key to anything, even if they don't add Dispel to the boss.
yeah, that's true. I do think like the Nilgald encounter itself, it's definitely like much harder than Kairon, but at the same time, I think it's balanced more in a way. Like if you actually beat it, you're probably gonna get triple S. Like the HP wise, like or whatever points wise, I think it makes a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, for the crafting for max stats, do you guys like it in Steeple where, when you get enough, you're guaranteed the skill along with a max stat roll? Like, good idea, bad idea?
I think it's pretty good. Like the content seemed very accessible for all players, and I think that's a great idea. And this just makes it easier to complete that Pokedex, right? Get the best set for your unit.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no issues with it, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's really good because you can't get it very easily. It take you a while to get one piece of perfect equipment, but if you want it, you can pick and choose. Yeah, I really like that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think 10 might be a bit much. I mean, they're planning on adding like old like exclusive event artifacts and stuff, right? Potentially being
I think
using
so.
that currency. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like 10 is like a lot.
Yeah.
If you're only doing like 3 a week.
What do you guys think about the other units? Like we focus a lot on Newfen because she's the meta one. But what else got the stuff?
Guider Aether?
Uh,
Yeah, I actually test
yes,
out
Dirk
Guide
City,
Ada
right?
when the Hollow Child actually first came out with the exclusive equipment for Guide Ada. I
Mm-hmm.
was using the bug one. I was running, I think, Sea Armin, Kitty Clarissa, Guide Aether plus Cleaver, and it was working okay in Legend. It was pretty fun,
Oh.
but the DPS coming out is just a little bit too scary. It's not really sustainable with Guide Aether by himself.
Mhm.
Mm.
I think there's probably some uses. It's just fun to use. I think in the lower arena where you don't have to have specific gears, it'll be very functional.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm surprised. I didn't realize there was anyone that was really testing it with Guider Aether that much.
I mean, Derp would have eventually.
Yeah,
Eventually.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think he got it. I got it on the first try, the artifact.
Oh.
Luck stack.
Wow. Yeah.
Luck
Lucky.
stack still.
Yeah, the one
Yo,
with the
lately
buff.
we've been seeing the gear updates like in your guild channel in game and just seeing Syllara's
I've been
name
getting
pop up.
yeah, I've been getting a lot of good RNGs lately. Like, and I
Yep.
remember one day I was getting a 17 speed armor and then a 19 speed neck.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
All right, I'm
Alright.
assembling all the stats.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
not fair.
right down Syllara.
Like, okay.
265
Yeah.
lots or something.
Yeah, no.
Oh
So
my
Sill's
gosh.
luck as of late has been insane. But anyway, moving away from the Gaither, Armin
Armin?
Armin got a lot of like initial attention when we first read the patch notes, right?
Yeah.
Like the insane percent stun chance on her skill one, was it? And the tiny, tiny speed buff based on the stat.
Yeah.
I don't think that impacts it that much, but I also don't think it does much in the meta, if that makes sense.
Like, I don't
Like,
know if it's that good because of the fact that I don't know, maybe it's just me right now, but like I still value Crimson Armin over normal Armin because the skill 3 is only when you use it. Like only until you get a turn and use it does it actually kick in
right.
effect. So like Crimson Armament, no matter what, you'll still have that Adamant Shield passive, like right off the bat. So, you can still run Aureus on someone else and whatnot. So like, it's kind of like maybe on offense. If you're running Armin on offense against certain teams, I feel like that might be viable. But on defense, I don't know if Armin actually has a place right now still.
Yeah, and like a big part of it, I feel like Carmen is still the best thing to do as protection.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been seeing a bit more of the double dark on defense, right? With the
Yeah.
Acolis getting more prominent, with
Yeah.
some Dark Corvuses, even at the top guilds, like
Yeah.
there's a sizable number of Dark Corvuses on defense. So having that light tank, if you don't want to run a Fighter Maya or if you don't have the Chuckle Waifu. But another thing is like sure, you get this RNG factor with a slow Elbrus Armin on your defense, right? But it becomes extremely weak to a Surmia, a Watcher Shuri, stuff like that, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it does anything. And from an offensive perspective, where I see Earth units in this game right now, they seem to be more centered around a core DPS,
Mm-hmm.
because you have this Charles SS Bologna core, right, in all aspects of this game. So if you bring an Earth DPS, you can neutrally attack and snipe a Charles, for example, and you can be protected from that Seaside Bologna. And just in general, like we see Euphine, we see Charles, still some Bikins, and for a very brief window, Lilibet, but I don't know. I don't see me dedicating a slot to a random Earth tank, just using skill one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially right now with a lot of new unit that's changing the meta coming out, you don't want to invest your Molagoras into these random 4-star heroes where the kids are, all right, it's not amazing enough for you to be wasting your resources. Now it's like wait and see. See if Lilias is good enough to invest a lot of Mola. See if Moonlight Bazaar is good enough to put a lot of Mola in there. Like if you have a lot of good, really like old units like Judge Kisei, I'm like 11 guaranteed pulls away from her. I don't think I'm gonna get her because it required too much Molagora. I rather wait for the up and coming Living It banner to spend my resources. That's just my take on it.
Okay.
You're gonna get a lot back though on the 3-star.
Yeah, for sure.
Further
But I don't
20%.
like 3-star units, so I'm not getting anything back.
Whale taste.
Okay.
Whale tastes.
All right.
So
Yeah.
I've got a ton of 3-star molded actually.
Oh,
You really?
man.
Like which one?
I've got a Gerardo molded that I've never actually even used. And then I had Ricorous, SC Ricorous molded.
Wow.
Then I've got like still have Chloe, like a good number, Axe God, all these other ones.
Oh, the Axe God. Yeah. Okay. I have an Axe God molded too. I have like +9 in him or something. That.
Yeah,
Um,
some of the really
Oh,
good
and
3-stars.
I don't
like,
have Lorena molded, even though I said to
Mhm.
do that. Now finally, I'll finally have one. You know.
Right, right.
I know a lot of people have a really functional Mamoransi without any Mola. I
mm-hmm.
was using 0 Mola Mamoransi. I'm beating the top meta Guild War teams, the Moonlight Cecilia, the SSB plus Charles, using a really tanky Mamoransi. If your stats good enough, you really don't need to invest because her heals are percentage based.
Right. And I don't know, like I've seen a lot of Rod Momos right now, and maybe increasing like by skilling her up, moving her onto Magara's tome. That'd be cool. I have a +9 Yekt, which my guild made fun of me for a long time.
Jack.
But
Jesus.
yeah, +9 Yekt. Imagine.
Huh. Nice. I never thought about investing molas into him, but hey, speed imprint, right?
Nah, please don't. Please never, ever invest in Yekt.
All right. Well, let's move on to the second topic here. Since pretty much done with that. So, all right. So, topic 2, thoughts on Lilias and her artifacts. So I'll just repeat this part, but I know Tiber pulled it. Yeah, well, all 3 of us pulled it. Oh, sorry, all 4 of us pulled it.
Bad, buddy.
Sorry. Have you guys tried Have you guys tried her out yet? And what do you think about her?
Well, Rex has the most Lilias, so why doesn't he start?
I think we like discuss. I have I like used her in arena. I mean, I don't even like play arena right now, but have I used her? No. Have I like thought about it a lot? Yeah, I would say so. I think she herself. I don't know if the Gunther like style stuff is ever gonna be that meta. I mean, I've seen like all these like I don't know YDs like Cleave, all these like Basar Tywin. I think that's probably the best version, Basar Tywin, and then like I don't know Ludwig or something else. People will figure it out. I
Mm-hmm.
think Basar is probably gonna be in general like extremely meta. I think if like you're like playing champion legend arena,
Yep.
the meta will shift, I think, away from at least the meta is probably already dead for the most part against like vanilla Judge Kisei cleaves in arena. But and I think most of it will all start shifting towards Basar to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think her and I think the reason because of that, like without Basar, I think her artifact itself is I would like go out on a limb. I would say the artifact is like meta definingly good. That's why I pulled like so much for it because I do want a copy of it for that. I mean, maybe I'm gonna be totally wrong, and it's gonna just be like meh.
Mm-hmm.
I think in GVG is gonna be strong at least, where like you can't always fit like Basar into a team.
Mm-hmm.
But even on offense, like to protect your Judge Kisei, assuming she's still used, it's funny because like she kind of needs it on attack and
Yeah.
also gets countered by it a little bit on defense. So I think you're
Hmm.
gonna see a lot of the artifact basically.
Okay.
Tiber, have you
Right.
played with it yet?
I have not. I have not gotten a chance to play with her that much. Still leveling her up right now. Had a quick thing pop up, so I couldn't play as much
Yeah.
today. But from what I've seen from our guild and from what I've been hearing, the damage isn't as impressive as I would have hoped. Considering, for those that don't know, and I don't know why you would actually, I just told Gabe, but I did 6-star and build
Already?
and max S2 my Gunther last week.
Oh, Gunther.
He's 100k CP.
How much attack?
um, not enough,
Not
but I
enough.
mullet him. I mullet him. I wanted to get to this because I right the stat page reflects it, but I wanted to get to the 10k attack and then maybe try to get to 300 crit damage on Lilias to like accurately test the maximum potential damage. But the modifiers were released. Um, not that impressive from what I've been hearing, and I don't think like there are so many good kill options in my personal opinion. Watcher Shuri, Dark Corvus,
Mm-hmm.
10k with attack buff, by the way. Don't, but like Watcher Shuri, Dark Corvus, to some extent Serbian Euphenia. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big Serbia advocate, have been for a long time, even though I've used Watcher Shuri primarily in the recent meta.
Mm-hmm.
But phenomenal single target DPS.
Yeah.
I personally feel is always safer than cleaving. So at most, maybe she could fit Lilias. Can Amen Eska. Sumi is kawaii as heck. Sumi is amazing. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, single target DPS, in my personal opinion, is much stronger because you confirm a kill and you get momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Make things safe and guarantee the win as fast as possible. That's the way I operate and the way I think a lot of the. I don't want to speak for other guilds, but a lot of life tends to operate, trying to minimize RNG and play safe.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't, but sometimes we mess
Sometimes
up,
it happens.
and sometimes Derp decides to stream, and then we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Uh,
First
but
time seeing someone lose with Dark Corvus.
yeah, yep, the acceptor, yep.
You'd be
I don't
surprised.
know.
Dark Corvus is actually not that strong
Yes and no.
against certain comps.
Certain
Against like
certain comps, yeah.
Yeah.
high DPS
Right.
comps is very scary to run Dark Corvus.
Exactly. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if you want to bring a Carmen, like there was one that was fairly decently tuned, with an S card going into an Arbiter Vildred. I think this was a couple wars ago that I found. And like if you do not actually bring like an immunity dedicated light tank, something will die, and that could include your healer, right? If your
Mm-hmm.
tank is gone, like Carmen, Fatamaya will live it. But if Carmen's gone, Momo comes next, then sure you can get some S3s off, but the damage becomes too much for you to handle,
Mm-hmm.
especially with this whole Alexa's basket Arbiter Vildred. The damage can pop up out of nowhere and kill you.
Yeah.
I feel like for Lilias, using her as a DPS, it's too gimmicky. It requires too much
Mm,
setup for it to function.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to work similar to how Clury used to work in the meta. You basically have a really speed, tanky person that provoke, harass, dual attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys were looking at the cooldown. Before you mola the character, the S2 and S3 actually have 5 turn cooldown. So you can actually use it too regularly. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking that you have to combine her with characters that have amazing S1, that have a lot of utility with the S. I was testing out with Lilias and Biken,
Mm-hmm.
and the good thing about Biking is when you trigger the S1, it actually lowers the cooldown. So when I put these two characters on auto, what happened is Lilias is gonna use S3, which is gonna take the attack offensive stats from Biken. Biken is gonna push her up, and she's going to use S3 to cleanse, and then she's going to get a CR boost. She's gonna come around, provoke, and then she's gonna start using S1. And then if you have a Biken that's on RNL, the Biken's cooldown is gonna get reduced really, really quickly as the dual attacks are happening. I was seeing like RNL proccing like crazy. Like one time I was seeing it happening like 6 times. Okay.
Is
So I
that
think there's
wow?
definitely some RNG you can do with Bike and Lilia setup.
Hmm. That's
Right.
interesting.
And for those that don't know, I think when Baiken has a full, like, clean slate, like if she were to get the first turn, for example, on RNL, I think the maximum extra turns she can get is five, like S2, S3, S1, S2, S1, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So having an extra S1 to reset the cooldowns earlier might facilitate
Yeah.
an extra combo later on. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like I feel like if we're talking about like relying on Arnav, for example, that feels like a more defensive thing. And if you were to put Lilias and Biken into an RGB core on defense, for example,
That's correct. Yeah.
I feel like the meta has shifted in that a lot of people have a lot more options now. And because RGB has been so ingrained in the meta
Mm-hmm.
for such a long time, like with, we saw the Violet Dizzy Ken a lot. The OG one many months ago before Guilty Gear collab was Destina Ken Crow.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on we had Bike and Dizzy Kron. Well, at least that was a big life. Like we were very big on that defense. We loved it. Um, and then eventually we moved back to Charles
Mm-hmm.
in the Charles Dizzy Ken. But I feel like people have learned how to bait that out very
Mhm.
well, bringing a safe DPS and bringing a tank, snipe the one target. Or there's so many different things you can do that I don't think Lilias will work that well on Guild War defense. Personally, like if either of y'all, like any of y'all, like theory crafted something you think might work.
Whoa,
Yeah, you gotta get it to
very
do it
personal
organically
question.
for sure.
True, true. I don't know. Like I personally don't think she will be that meta changing, but I think she will be a fun unit to use. Like,
I think it's I think it's pretty difficult to sit Lilius right now. Like you need a very specific team, and I mean, if you're like sitting with like Arbor Vildred or like, I think Lilius Ruel, those two together, I don't know if there's like a third unit like in the game that can uh make that into like a good team. Like probably lose to Oxlot's a little bit too hard.
mm,
And then so if you can't set like a reviver support, I don't think you can set any support. So
Mm-hmm.
It has to be like Lilias and 2 DPS basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then that brings up the question of like trying to speed to your stuff. Like if you're trying to put an A. coli with it, are they just going to try to eat it? Are they just going to like playing speed on defense? For me personally, I feel like that's a very risky move to do because outspeeding is always easier for the offense. Unless maybe you're like Denjo or
Yeah.
someone like that, right? Like
Yeah.
someone who's extremely fast. But even then, a lot of people can outspeed because
Double speed
in
imprint.
order to exactly. Like you can speed imprint and do so effectively by
Mm-hmm.
using aux slots on offense, whereas on defense, off more times than not, a speed imprint is just a dead. It's just a dud. It's just an empty, wasted slot that if they play around it, it becomes a 3v2 right on the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
Yeah. I think in general, like just high speeds as just like meh for
yeah,
the most part. Denja is kind of an exception,
What
but
if you're
yeah.
running two comps? Like nowadays, you kind of have to make your two teams work together because you want to make sure that they share similar strength or weaknesses. So people need a similar type of comp to, let's say, uh, team one require Cleave to beat it. Team two should also require Cleave to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
That way, they can only beat one of your team and not both of your team. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say you have two comps that require a higher speed and a speed imprint. They have to choose one. So that might be one way to get around that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I don't even think there's 2 teams that I don't think there's like almost any team right now that cannot be beaten or
Yeah.
that requires you to be outsped in order to
mm,
win.
agreed, agreed. Like even moving back to the old ball aura meta in Guild War defense, right? When people like Denja, for example, would run that Shuri ball and aura
Mm-hmm.
defense, right? And like for example, back in the day, like 274 was impressive, right? So they had a 274 cleave very early. And he got outsped because of the speed RNG. Like speed RNG is still a thing,
Yeah.
and like that or not, I personally don't think it should be a thing. But
Yeah.
the reality is, it's there, and um, if I'm not comfortable with the speed check, I think it's much safer to do something else. And um, I don't know. And like it showed the most successful teams in taking care of that comp, from Onburn's comps and to Denjo's comps, they weren't the turn ones. Like I think turn
Yeah.
two is a very powerful thing.
The naked champion Zerato.
So loves. I think. Are you the only person who like actually uses Zerato still?
It's like
We had a couple
basically free win when you're running
guild.
into a Moonlight Araminta.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Those
mean, I
days.
think they basically made enough champions or sorry, heroes that like just do stuff on your turn. Like Seaside Bologna is just so punishing for so many teams. In fact, like not even necessarily for like GVG,
Absolutely.
but like Seaside Bologna in arena offense is just like I think is was like so game changing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically allowing like almost anyone to beat almost anyone's team. Seaside Bologna plus Dizzy, like
Mm-hmm.
just like the most basic level offense.
Yeah, Seaside Bologna has impacted the game in so many different ways. He's such a powerful unit, even like in introducing new players to Wyvern 11,
Yeah.
for example. Like she works like phenomenally well. She's so strong in the Guild Wars as well, offense and defense. Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
She's
busted,
such a
busted
versatile
unit.
unit. Like her morale's not great, but even in like PvE content, like she's good in like raids technically. It's just I don't know. I haven't seen like a super high morale team yet, but if you don't care about the morale and you just want to clear raids, like she works great. So there's a lot of things that yeah, she definitely impacted the game quite a bit more than I thought. Um,
Mm.
especially now. Okay. All right. Um, do you guys have anything to add for the second topic here about Lilias and her artifact?
I think right now nobody really knows how to use her.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just wait and see if the meta can adapt her.
Yeah, I think a lot of like we're gonna see a lot of different builds. Like right now, I'm trying the speed, like a Ken build, pretty much speed, tanky, crit damage. Yeah, it didn't go that well in Guild Wars today.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna switch off that. Like, her damage is not horrible at no
Yeah.
mola, but I don't think like I'm not gonna be using her as a damage dealer now. Like, yeah, as you said,
Right.
like it's definitely more someone like a Falcon or Cleary. The dual attacks will help more. The only issue here is she's not like Tamrin. It's not like a dual attack with the highest attack.
Right.
It's a random dual attack. So if there's a unit that you don't really need um, uh, to bring along with the dual attack, and then you bring it along, it's like it kind of makes it not as good in that sense. Then, so yeah, I guess a lot of testing. We can always talk about this again, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go third topic. Let's move on there. All right. So a little bit straying off of patch notes, whatnot. So, what are your guys' thoughts on how Smilegate did with the anniversary event? Was it better than the Guilty Gear collab event wise? Was it, that kind of thing? And also, second part, are there more places that you feel like Yuna can be used now with her exclusive artifact, giving you the imprints and her buffs?
Well, one big takeaway I had from the Guilty Gear collab was that everybody, from my casual friends to a lot of my competitive friends, like everyone thought that the Guilty Gear event, the side story, was such a huge, huge energy suck.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very taxing for everyone to keep on grinding the same stage over and over again. And a lot of people I know burned out. So
Yeah.
having that, like the D1, D2, D3 stages where you can get like the 60 currency for only 8 energy and a very quick run,
Yeah.
I think that was really cool. And
Mm-hmm.
that was sort of like a sign that Smilegate's listening, right? Like they acknowledged their issue with the previous big event,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they addressed it. Finally, being able to see otherworldly machinery being added. Now we just need Chatty
Yeah.
to fill my Pokedex, which is a thing. Like that's
Yeah.
how some people play. Like it's
Hey,
important.
it'll be coming soon.
Yeah.
True, 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 true. Like Halloween is not that far away. Um, I don't know. I did like the event. Derp is a bully. But yeah, I like the event a lot.
Yeah. I feel like Smilegate has surprised me quite a lot. Really often, they have really creative, really good solutions, and then really good ideas when it comes to these events and storylines and things like that. I'm just happy as far as where the game is heading to. I feel pretty good about the past event.
Recc?
Um, I think it was good. I mean, the whole daily thing was like a really good idea. I agree with like Syllara on that. Um, I do think the actual like event. I mean, for global, it's nice, but if I was like a Korean player and they like reran the unit event, the only like new thing you got was like Midnight Bloom, which is like a pretty game changing artifact for like all like these one shot like Wyvern hunt teams and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but like not actually having like new content. I know there's like a lot of free stuff. You got like all the pools and stuff, but I thought the event was kind of underwhelming in terms of like what the actual content was.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the free stuff was good, but it was just kind of like honestly, I was expecting like something else or something more.
Yeah, I agree. The structure is good, but the whole event I feel is a little bit outdated.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is like the whole concept of the side story. Like so many of us just click skip, 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 skip scene, skip, skip, skip. And it's just very rehashed. It's just, you're doing the energy
Mm-hmm.
and grinding a stage. New PvE content is. Do they know when they said they would release the guild PvE, the world boss kind of thing?
No, there's no specified time yet. Nothing set in stone yet, as
Gotcha.
far as I know.
I think the
Gotcha.
fact that they left it out of like that Korean, like the timeline they gave it, like the
Mm,
Korean, like I
Conference.
don't know what it was. Yeah, that like the latest one,
Yeah.
and then like that they laid out like what they're gonna do till November. The fact it's not even inside that, I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
Yeah. I thought Okay, so I think there's something about that. Is like because they're putting it off for so long. I'm praying to God. I'm hoping that they're really working on something new for it. So it's like I'm always having my hopes up. I want something. I want something co-op. Like if they can make something that's good co-op, and I'm not talking about Summoner's War. Uh,
Yeah.
what was that called
Oh,
again?
the
Rift.
Rift of
Yeah, I'm not
Worlds,
talking about Rift where you put your
Raid
units in and
R5.
it's auto. It's like something you probably require manual, where it requires your units to actually, um, your guildmates to like, oh, you should be using, it's better to use this kind of skill rather than another one, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. It'll be fun if we can get like 2 gil versus 1 gil, you know?
Oh,
We need
that.
like, yeah, we probably need like 5 gil against Ambition.
No.
Yep.
Yo,
Mhm.
I'd be down for that. Yo, the world bosses,
We really need that.
yeah, 5 guilds all band together just to knock down ambition in the world boss at least. Win in one
It's a plan.
aspect. Next
Put
thing
it
you
down
know,
in writing.
next thing you know, Vayne just goes full try hard, and then still can't beat ambition. It's like, okay, you know what? Well, that's it.
Yeah, might have to have like someone log into everyone's account at that point to play.
Oh, ambition is the world boss.
Oh,
Oh,
makes sense.
yo, but yeah, no, I think like my thoughts at least for the anniversary event, like overall, like they gave a lot, good free stuff. 10 daily free polls. The daily farming was good. For especially free to play people, it's less of a chore. Like even if you didn't farm the 30 hard, the 30 difficulty, 30 hell difficulty stage, just doing the dailies would be able to buy you like most of the stuff you needed. So, but I do agree. Like personally, for me, I half expected more kind of, I guess, things happening to do, like either new thing or like um, a bit more like content wise, like because to me right now it didn't really feel that much like an anniversary thing aside from the daily free temples. It just felt like we got a new side story event kind of thing that happened, like because we get the
Yeah,
side stories
exactly.
every 2 weeks, so it's just like okay, after the free 10 polls, that was the anniversary. To me, the side story was just another side story thing that happened. So
Honestly, I thought it was like the pre-anniversary. I thought there was something else coming, but I
I
guess not.
yeah, didn't seem like that. So I don't know if like maybe they'll time it with like because the global anniversary is coming
Hmm.
in November.
Will they even celebrate that?
I don't know. Like I'm wondering if like they'll do something bigger for that, if they'll time it to that instead, or
Ooh,
Um,
bigger than that. I don't
yeah.
know. Korea's gonna be pretty mad if it's bigger than that.
That okay, that's
right.
true. That's true. That's okay.
They might be busy with the Japan server though. Yeah, that might be pretty big.
Also true.
That would be
Yeah.
better than any anniversary, I think. All right, I'm ready for the
Japanese
JC.
Yo.
voice acting.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's the real
I'm
reason we all
down
play
for
this
it.
game. No, but to go off of like the Summoners War model, like I know not everything Smilegate has done has mimicked Summoners War and Knights Chronicle, the games that Epic 7 was based on. But what SW did every single year was they did celebrate the Korea launch and global
Mm,
separately. So
okay.
we might see it.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question.
I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with that then. But past the anniversary, yeah, with the new Una buffs, exclusive artifacts, because we got a 3 perfect exclusive roles for her for each skill. Like, where else do you think she's viable outside of Wyver 11? Because I know we've seen a lot of Wyver 11 Una. Like, do you feel like she's viable in PvP? Abyss raids. Like, what do you? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think she's close. She's getting closer each day, or each time they do something. She's getting closer. It's not there yet. The S2 taking an entire turn is probably the weakest point, but even like a new ranger artifact could make her good enough. I mean, you can use her like wherever you want on offense. I mean, as like a worse, semi worse like Seaside Balloon, I guess. But like for her to become like actually meta, I think she needs something done on like her S2.
Mm-hmm.
Extra turn obviously would be like insane, but maybe an artifact to help out somehow. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Somebody need to
Um,
test out Yuna into Lilias into Baiken. Let's go.
All right, yo,
Are you volunteering?
chop chop, someone.
That's all you, buddy.
Oh boy,
But yeah,
do any
no,
of you
like
guys have a 6-star Yuna? I'm just curious.
I don't. I actually don't.
I never got Yuna off of connections, and I just got her off of the event, like the bug or you like buy her even though you didn't have her.
Oh,
mm,
oh, okay. I guess you don't either, right, Sil? You don't have a 6-star Yuna, Syllara?
Oh no, I have a 5-star.
Okay, well, all right.
yeah.
I guess none of us can test it because all of ours are 5-star.
Yeah.
So someone in
No.
chat's gonna have to do that for us. Yo, Sledley is Sledley says he does. So yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
can you test out that comp? I feel like that can do a lot of damage with all the cycling.
yeah. Sledley, thank you for that. Let us know what happens once you test that out, so we can talk about that next time. All right. So that was pretty quick. Let's move on to the fourth topic. All right. So this is a little outside of normal stuff, also. Something a little bit separate. I don't know how many people are wondering about this. I don't know how much information we have either, but um, how will Hellgate slash Chinese Guild, those are two that I know so far, that disbanding affect guild rankings? Like, how, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, because a lot of people obviously shifted. That's two top guilds that disbanded and had their members split up. Meanwhile, I saw like one of them in like a cupcake guild randomly for some reason. But aside from
I
that,
think I think we've been seeing a lot of top guilds disbanding for one reason or another. Usually, it's internal conflict or people just can't get along. But what you can always see is ambition. Generally speaking, they're gonna be number one because they're always the biggest recruiter. They're always poaching people left and right.
Whoa, that is a strong word.
whoa, 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 whoa.
I mean, make business sense to me. You always want new blood. You always want good players.
Yeah.
It's normal. But the good thing about these guilds that stick around is they have really good culture. Everybody just kind of mesh well together. Everybody kind of just sticks around. Same thing with life. If you see the culture we have, everybody kind of casual. Everybody kind of just meshes well. You don't have anybody that really has a lot of ego trying to give problem. Usually those guys don't last very long.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come to some of these younger guilds, I would say that hasn't been around for a very long time, where they have a lot of powerful players, is initially they're all playing together for the same goals. And
Mm-hmm.
then eventually, some of these people might have different goals, and then they end up going separate ways to different guilds.
I think
And
also like a lot of those
mhm,
guilds taking in new members would have disrupted the original kind of balance, I guess.
right, it's a slow process. Some of these guilds are approaching a little bit too rapidly with all these merges
Mm-hmm.
and all these different personalities clash together, just for guild war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sort of going off of like the differences in goals. Like I do feel like a part of it somewhat is like burnout and like not feeling like the current Guild War structure is worth it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know going into the first season, a lot of us maybe held on to some hope that there would be a reason to compete at the top level in Guild War, right?
Yeah.
That rank one would not be would maybe get something a tiny bit different from rank, I don't know, 1473, for example, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
um, sort of disappointing that Smallgate didn't really do that, and they're not putting much focus on GVG, and I don't think they realize that that is our end game content. That is what most of us tend to care about the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand a lot of people just like moving out. Like Licky said, right, in the chat, like there's not a difference in losing and winning in Guild War anymore. Like things don't really matter as much.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a lot of the guilds just like completely disappearing, some of the power structure has been a bit changed. A lot of people have been absorbed here and there. Like I know Big Ben got a lot stronger coming into this season, right?
Yeah.
Because of the Ano absorbed merge, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I'm wondering if just like a thought, you guys know. You guys probably all thought about this or put some thought in this before, but like skins right now, as far as we can tell, skins that
Mm.
they've come up with don't affect the game much. There's no stats, thankfully, which I love. Um, but do you think like having like um, tiered skins, so like at a specific ranking level, you'll get this skin. At a lower level, you'll get maybe another skin or a similar skin that's that will display that will show that you were at that in that guild at that ranking during that season when that happened at the end of the season. So like
Mm.
yeah, very similar to how Summoners War did their real time arena. Which like do you think something like that would be cool? Like some sort of non monetary reward that I guess you can say in a way flexes your ranking. Like yeah. Like what do you
I think
think?
I agree with that approach. I would really like that. You know, I think the real in-game content is always the cosmetics,
Mm-hmm.
right?
100%. And like
Ring,
that's
rainbow
why
rings would be
RTA
best.
like RTA was a big hit for Summoners War, and the primary rewards for RTA were cosmetic, and it doesn't impact the game in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives people some drive, and like it's not about like the flex, it's not about the ego, right? Like, oh, being rank one, being rank two, like most people at the top are extremely chill people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no ego to be had. It's just like feeling like the sensation of like I'm putting in the work for a reason. I can see something tangible that I'm actually getting, other
Mm-hmm.
than 85 Mystic Metals versus maybe 60 or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
83, something like that. So stuff like that.
Any thoughts, Recc, on like what you
Yeah.
guys might?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I I would say, and I honestly hope like they implement that, but I do think that Smilegate, just based on, I don't know if like you guys like listen to like the Q&A of
Mm-hmm.
that Korean conference at the end, someone like basically asked like this question, like are you planning on improving Guild Wars rewards? Like there's basically no point of
Yeah.
being like at the top. And the response was something around like oh, in Guild Wars season 3 we're going to add like an exclusive hero or something. I think Smilegate, well, first of all, I don't think they're going to make any changes for season 2, or
Mm-hmm.
sorry, not season 2, season 1, season
Yeah.
1, season 2. And then I think their plan is basically to make Guild Wars just totally participation reward based, and the entire like all of like the vanity stuff will be relegated to RTA.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't think S2 even will have any like vanity stuff. It's just going to be like, instead of proof, it's just going to be like a hero.
Yeah. So like they're pretty much putting it so that like it's not like a competitive kind of guild wars. Is if you participate, you do your guild wars, you can grab this kind of thing.
Yeah, like as long as you're doing Guild Wars, like you're going to be able to get the hero.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's going to go.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait and see on that. But I we'll see what they do. If they could, you know, put something in, cool or whatnot. Because yeah, I definitely feel like right now, without RTA, having some sort of like push would be really good for Guild Wars. Okay, so that was a quick topic. Last topic that I have right now so far. Um, how has the ML nerfs recalls affected the meta? Yeah, what do you guys? Yeah, let's hear your thoughts, guys, for Guild Wars PvP. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Somehow it's made everything more difficult, I would say. Um, I feel like when we, at least personally, when I had less tools, or I guess not for me, but I guess for my guild, like when we had less tools, we drew less, and now we have more tools, we draw a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like idea of Jake Kisei round 1, Dark Corvus round 2, uh, like Syllara said, I think Dark Corvus is not like double healer. Dark Corvus is not the answer to every single team.
Yeah.
Um, so that part, at least personally, I'm happy about. Like that, not everyone basically has Dark Corvus, but Dark Corvus doesn't necessarily beat every single team, as
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us thought was going to happen.
I think like
Yeah.
Dark Corvus was really strong in Guild Wars before because people had a lot less options to bring out. But then once the nerfs and the refunds came out, everyone had a lot more options now available to them. So then people knew and saw Dark Corvus coming. So a lot of people were brainstorming on how to deal with Dark Corvus kind of offenses and stuff like that.
I think number one, people are getting smarter with how they're setting up their characters, and then the gear level has gotten to the point where the damage burst is so much that your healer is just not going to be able to sustain your Dark Corvus. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's a lot of RNG. You just can't have a character that takes like 5-10 turns to kill somebody
Yeah.
while they're putting out damage every single round.
Yeah.
Right. And like as much as we're like talking it down, like Dark Corvus, like everyone watching like should know, like Dark Corvus is still very strong. Like don't get us wrong, like he's incredibly powerful and he answers a lot. But I definitely agree with Recc, and we've observed that in our guild too. Like sort of reassuring to hear Ambition say that as well. Like we're drawing a lot more than we ever have before because we're turning our brain off, right? Like it was sort of a negative impact in a different way. Like a lot of us, when we were brainstorming this and the announcement first dropped that they were doing this recall, a lot of us were scared that Guild War would turn into just a draw fest. Both guilds would full clear each other. And that was a terrifying thought, but apparently not if we're inting.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I kind of like the fact that, well, for Guild Wars, I feel like it definitely it. Funny enough, I feel like it helped it diverse it a little bit. Arena though, I don't know how many, like I know Recc probably like mental fatigue and like stressed out from last season, but like he just doesn't even care about Arena right now. I think Recc's just like
I haven't attacked, I think, in like so many weeks. Challenger 3 or something right now.
Oh my gosh.
He's probably waking up in the middle of the night thinking it's rush hour.
He's like, oh gosh.
It's a lot of anxiety, man. Like you never know what happens each week.
Yeah, like I've been climbing the. I was doing a little bit of rush hour. I didn't attack as much as I did in season 2, but like the first week was hectic. Like everyone trying out their offenses and see how they hold up. So there's so many people attacking, but then like I'm starting to see like the similar team comps for defenses. Like I think in Legend at least 9 out of 10 defense, or sorry, 4 out of 5 defenses will have Fallen Cecilia, Arbiter Vildred, MLK, like some sort of combination of that, and then a Reviver, or something like.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna see those combo, and then Seaside Bologna obviously in every single one. So it's like each guild war, each arena defense is still the same thing now. Still, I think offense has changed a lot more though with like the Bassar buff at least.
Yeah.
And Arbiter Vildred, like specifically, like he definitely did get weaker, quote unquote, because it was a nerf, right? But the Alexa's buff, like sort of coinciding with that, was a bit convenient and just like people observing, like, oh wow, there's so many Arbiter Vildreds in Arena now. Is he better than before? Now that we've discovered Alexa's basket, um, I wouldn't say so. I think he's just good.
Yeah.
Similar to where he was before, just more people have him.
Yeah.
And
He's
that's
a
sort of
lot more
made things
manageable, definitely, but he still dished out so much damage because people's quality of gear just gotten so much better with the flat buff. He still dish out so much damage. If you're not paying attention, you look away for a second and Lesa's basket proc, and you're like half dead.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like when I've been doing arena with Tamasaria at least, like, because Moonlight Dreamblade shows if he's running it in the beginning, right? If I remember correctly. So if he's running Moonlight Dreamblade now, if I can kill with the AoE on BB Karen, I actually can't just leave him sometimes. Often not. I don't bother proccing the Dreamblade. Because without the attack buff, I know he's not running Alexa's. He's not going to kill my team. Like, even if one of my units die, if one of my damage dealers live, it doesn't matter to me then. So then I can still kill him. If he's running Alexa's, I know he's not running Moonlight, then I'll go for the kill. So it's like, I guess for me, like, it's, unless there's a fat cat, like, I don't need to run Oath Key as often now. But then, I think my biggest issue nowadays is like MLken is a little bit too prevalent, and I really dislike the MLkens. They probably cause me the biggest headaches, like left and right at least.
Yeah, I think if Alexis was not buffed, I don't think I would have selected like away Arbiter Vildred. I think like that artifact is like basically I think if you're not running that artifact, then you're running like Dreamblade as like a type of cheese.
Yeah.
Because they think you're running that artifact and you're just relying on them like to not bring Oath Key or something.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
and then that's just like a little mini game. Whereas like beforehand, like Dreamblade was like a good option, like legitimately probably like one of the best ones. Or you could opt, I don't know, like RNL, like extra turn stuff or something. But at this point, like I don't think the way they nerfed him makes it so that I don't think any, like you used to see like a lot of Arbiter Vildreds, like maybe not a lot, but like a decent amount, like above like 200 speed. Like you could use like RNL to like potentially like loop your entire like immortality if they like bring a team that's like too slow.
Yeah.
Or not immortality, but the revive.
Yeah.
Or something in like arena. But I just think all of those builds are basically for the most part dead. Like the lowest your A Vildred can probably go realistically is like 150, 160. But like most of the time, like you're gonna see like these slow A Vildreds. Unless you're running like I don't know, some very cheesy like high speed A Vildred to snipe Tamas area or something like that. But
And like
they made him
nowadays,
more one dimensional, I think.
100%. And I sort of liked the old A Vildred because like you could play it different ways. Like my old defense was a 230 Charles, right? 230 speed Charles with a Vildred and fast, both all of them 220 or 230, and it would set up the attack buff and just try to overwhelm. That was the idea anyway.
Yeah.
But
this was the old Vadrid.
I don't know if you.
Sorry, just for people in chat so they know, this is the old A Vildred that scaled off lost HP, right?
Oh no, the old as in it got attack buff for free.
I see.
You
Okay.
just want to put up a lot of pressure early on. So if you accidentally pop his A Vildred, you're basically dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So stuff like that. The old A Vildred, I don't remember seeing ever a lot.
I've
A
only
Vildred was
seen
my first
2 or
ever
3.
The really
MO5.
old one, I believe, only a few people ever used it, and
Yeah.
they ran a pretty fast one just to be annoying, but it wasn't really a big DPS.
The old one, I think the only time I ever saw it was on Burn. When he was Fort, not Stronghold for Big Band. Was an old Arbiter Vildred defense, I think.
Yeah, I think him and maybe like underscore.
Yo, underscores Arbiter Vildred like cucked us like hella hard the first day of because the buff for Arbiter Vildred happened on a Wednesday, which is interesting to me. Like that Smilegate hasn't changed. The big patch maintenance happens on a Guild War day. Like
yeah,
I find that appalling. But I remember we all came back after maintenance and forgot about the buff, and we just got steamrolled. Almost lost the war because of that. We're like, oh, whoops.
Everyone probably like the first few people that went in are like wait, what happened? And then like slowly it comes up. Yeah, it's like, oh shoot, yo, message the guild, warn everyone else. Okay. I mean, aside from that, like, I don't think there's too much more about the nerfs, whatnot. There's another topic. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to add a little bit. I feel like the arena nowadays are very unforgiving because everybody's gear quality has started to catch up. A lot of people have really, really good gears. So if you're going in unprepared, before you can kind of wing it and you can beat pretty much everybody. Nowadays, everybody have good gear. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna get. I remember the first this season 3 first week. I didn't have a proper defense team set up. I couldn't even maintain. I couldn't even keep myself in legend. I got kicked out of legend actually.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, it was kind of hilarious.
I think the thing though is like adding all of these like that like Seaside Bologna basically making like arena offense like so they basically made it in the past, like before in season 2, Dark Corvus was like the one where it was like, all right, if I want to beat you and I've got like and I want to take 5 minutes, like I'm gonna win. I'm gonna Dark Corvus you. It doesn't matter like what you say, like your defense is going to lose. But I have to spend 5 minutes to do it. And you also have to own Dark Corvus. But now in season 3, it's more like, well, if I want to spend 2 to 3 minutes now, I can beat you with like a defensive Seaside Bologna team. And the fact that now everyone can do that, I don't think like in season 2, like Artoria like one time ended at like 5,800. I think like I ended like 57 something. Like that's because at that point, like your defenses could sometimes actually be like so strong. Like there was such like a gear check in some cases, like ball speed or like the damage on like some stuff or like the effectiveness of ML aura that like people would not attack you. But nowadays, like almost everyone can beat everyone if you want to commit the time.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in season 3 arena is going to end over like 5650 points.
Yeah, I haven't seen very high score nowadays.
It's funny though, like the high end of it, like I think like just last week it ended at like 5,000. I think 5,600 was the closest it got.
Yeah.
But then the threshold to enter Legend 6 though somehow got bumped up to 5,330. So like
Yeah.
it was
Real, yeah.
so many points to get up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Arena. I don't know if I want to invest too much time into it because
yeah, like 5 loss, you're out of Legend.
yeah, yeah, and then like refreshing the Sky Stones, I don't know if it feels worth it anymore for me. Like it's just Abdar in chat says Arena sucks. Currently trying to grind for that Legend top 3 place. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got 14 more weeks, man.
I hope you survive.
With that. Like, I mean, that's another thing too. Like, because of the SSB being introduced and breaking the game and all of the ML recalls and the tickets, right? So many people like had the mind, had the time zone, and had the gear, but were lacking maybe some meta arena units.
Yeah.
So they weren't competing in arena. But now so many more people like have this door open, right? So
that's true.
like more people are competing and more people are putting their hand in and trying it out. So
yeah, definitely. There's still lots of people in like the I can do it phase right now. But,
the ones that are trying out, they're testing their own mental capabilities.
Yeah, I can tell you it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Around like week 9.
Yep. So grind as much point as you can right now. A lot of people are going to be dropping out. It'll get easier as time go on, I think.
Man,
yeah, it's definitely a marathon. I do think like as we basically expected, they basically like annihilated ML Ball.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the worst ML5. I think even by like a large margin, even compared to Spez.
What do you mean
like,
even?
Like, I can't say I disagree. Like, unless they're running very specific teams, ML Ball just doesn't feel that. Like, for anyone in at least Champion or Legend that got the ML recall, and you have a Fallen Cecilia, like that, ML Ball straight up countered. Unless they're running Violin, I guess. But even then, like even if you run Violin, the worst part is you'll strip the shield first, and then you'll try to sleep, and then you'll strip the immunity. So you'll strip both buffs, but you still can't sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think I don't know, man. I some people like have hope for him in RTA. I think even if he does his job perfectly, like turn 1, I think he's still terrible. Like
Ball got gutted hard. And that's also why I don't think that the aura nerf like even needed to happen, right? Like, cause she was very dependent on
ML Ball,
like Ball and the Ball and like how they worked together. That
but with
don't know.
Basar, I don't know. Like, I feel like if Ara wasn't
Ooh, true,
nerfed with
true.
Basar, like that would be the. I feel like all my defense losses would be Basar Armintha.
Bizarre,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, Basar ML Armintha. I feel like that's what it would be. Like the Basar buff made our ML Armintha a lot more viable, so she's not like a dead
Or
unit.
would have made her.
Mm.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
say.
Oh, you gotta tell that to Denja, man.
Well,
True,
yeah. For Denjo, like working out great. Yeah, that
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How fast is his Bazaar, anyways? You guys know?
it's 270 something. I almost got
Leaking.
speed
Leaked.
RNG'd by him, and I was running a 270 something Assassin Coley back then with it was like 275 I think with double imprint.
Assassin Bowie with imprint, double imprint.
With one imprint. I was running one imprint before that, and then I was trying that, but it was still speed RNG. He was at like 98% I think or something like that.
Wow, oh my god.
Wow.
So I'm just like, all right, if I see Denjo, I'm gonna avoid him. 250.
Yeah.
Don't you lie in chat, Denjo, huh?
That's funny.
The man himself.
Yeah.
I will say, I think Smilegate made a mistake buffing Basar's.
I think so.
They buffing the speed is fine. Like I'm fine with that. But the soul burn on the S3, all the regular buffs. I mean, yeah, he's like a sort of like a green dizzy.
Yeah.
Allowing for the soul burn to ignore resistance, I think, is a big mistake.
Yeah.
I thi- if they ever print now like a soul burn to ignore defense, I mean, at that point, like defense is just or to ignore to death break, ignore resistance, AoE death break. Yeah, I can just say I hope they never make that unit.
Call
But
champion Zerato.
Oh God.
okay, so
wait, does it actually do that at 100%?
Yeah, he actually does that. He has that.
Hold on a second. Let me take a look here.
Syllara, what did you do? What did you do?
Uh-oh.
But it's
Don't
not
give
100%.
the enemy.
I think like the Basar buff, like it pretty much is this the right word? Invalidates like all immunity kind of sets and everything. Like it's just
I mean,
you know,
yeah.
you don't care about
like-
shields, you don't care about immunity, you don't care about like anything now. It's just
I
click
mean,
a
there's
button.
still the
That's it.
15%
Right.
RNG, you know?
Well,
Yeah, I
like
mean, like,
Wait, there's
sorry.
still what RNG? What did you say, Syllara?
15% RNG is still there, right? Even with the ignore effective.
No.
No.
That gets rid of that.
Guaranteed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
That's why-
15%.
Oh my-
The only thing you have RNG is if they're running like Corvus or some sort of fire unit, you have the chance to miss. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, like,
Put on your Katuja, I guess.
maybe. But yeah, like Bizarre is sort of filling that very important role that like we saw in Summoners War for such a long time. Like I don't know how many Summoners War players are here, but Tiana,
Yeah.
the concept of a very reliable, you will do your job. I don't know. I feel like that's very important, especially as we're moving into RTA. I feel like Bizarre, if we were to have a very controlly kind of meta, that Bizarre is going to be the enabling factor, like the limiting factor for competing.
Okay, well, go open up. Well, it's not really gonna be open chat or anything. There is another topic I realized I want to put in, just to fill in real quick. Yeah, so there's Carrot and also ML Basar. I don't know how many of you guys actually looked through that. I only briefly glanced over ML Basar. Just initial thoughts. We can go over Carrot first, and then we'll go over ML Basar. What you guys think? Yeah. So I'm actually curious. Which one of you guys did the Carrot specialty change?
I did. I think any character that can win without having to attack the target it needs to kill has some value. Just like offense wise, I think with the 3-star Mola change, I think she could be actually like really good. But I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. I saw a video of someone testing it in Golem, and the damage seemed good.
Yeah, like it. I don't know if it's the same video, but it had 2 burn procs and it detonated for 60k damage, as far as I saw.
Yeah, big stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But I mean, then again, it's Golem, and like we saw like a Cirilla one-shot Golem team, right?
Okay, true, true, true.
And like Carrot for me is similar to Cirilla's role, right? Waifu. That's pretty much it. Like that's all that she really provides, in my
Hmm.
personal opinion, right now. Maybe I'll be convinced otherwise with the mold change, and we can see how things go.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't. Do I think she'll be as impactful as old school Chloe? It's almost been a year since. Wow, time flies. Back when
Yeah,
everyone depended on Falcon or Chloe.
yeah, it's been a long
Um,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know her because I hated her so much.
Yeah.
The
You need to give
rebels.
Gary a specialty change. Bring back the OG. Just
Elson's
revert all the
specialty change.
north.
The amount of
Just revert all.
frustration I felt every time she took an extra turn, like
Oh yeah.
I want to flip a
Tilted
table.
or no? Oh yeah. Chloe was good. Like, but yeah, I mean, Momo I think is equally as strong as old school
Momo
Chloe.
is very
Personally,
strong too.
like
Yeah,
I feel like Momo's done a lot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Monraz is
And
definitely ridiculous too.
absurd. Like, and I don't know if they were trying to go for something more tame because of Momo being as strong as she was, maybe sort of like resetting the standard, so to
Hmm.
speak, not making 3 stars the new tier
Yeah.
for being broken.
I
And
was
they
wondering.
basically
Oh,
allowed
sorry.
you to sorry. They basically allowed like anyone in the game, even if you have like the worst pool RNG,
Hmm.
you can play the game now. Like
Exactly, and I think that's a good thing to do, like
Yeah,
opening up to more new players, so
yeah.
to speak.
I think it was good. Like, well, like I don't know whoever remembers, but I'm sure all of us do in chat at least here. The Holy Trinity, like it was the strong. Like it was such a strong combo. You completed Abyss 80 with 3 stars, and none of them required specialty changes. So then it's like I feel like they wanted to make it so that at least new players had to work for their 3 stars. They didn't want them to just you pulled them, and that's it. Um, so right now at least um, being able to get a 3 star that is really good, but just having to work for it is I feel like a really good method for them to kind of help newer players still.
yeah, Holy Trinity was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean that was like a well-oiled machine team, and there was only like a small like amount of time, which honestly I find it was really funny. Like when DN first came out, and everyone was like saying, "Oh, dude, why would you want to pull DN? Literally worse than Elson." But I feel like all those
Yeah.
people who were like saying that were not actually playing with the Trinity. Like DN was ridiculous in the Trinity over Elson. Like it's so much better. I thought. Like I mean, defense up was good, but it was like crazy how good it was. And you only got to play with it for like 1 or 2 weeks before they
Yeah.
destroyed
I think
Gary
for
and
them it was just like Elson was a 3 star, so everyone was like, "Oh, why go for 5 star when you have a 3 star?" So it's like everyone just thought, "Oh, yeah, don't bother pulling for DN until they more people start to use her more and more, and then testing with her. Everyone's brand new and fresh to the game too, so skill, true skill animation time on DN would kill someone.
that is true actually. Her S3 does take a long time. But her S3 was also really nice. I mean,
Yeah,
which is also honest personally, I think Carrot's S3 animation is better than Lilias.
it
But
looks really cool. I have to admit.
yeah, I think and her SM1 animation on Carrot I think is like really nice.
Yeah, I
Her art is also better. Just
well,
just putting that out there.
whoa,
Just
whoa. This sounds biased now.
are we gonna start a waifu wars? Is this our content?
Yo, hey, my wife was always Assassin Coley, so we Gucci.
That's fair. That's fair.
What was it called? I was watching that video for Carrot, and every time she used her skill 1 or something, there's like the only thing I find super satisfying is I think it's her skill 1 or skill 3, I can't remember. She pops like the cork or something. You hear like the dong.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that is the most satisfying part for me. Like hearing that sound, like I'm starting to make her. I'm gonna make the specialty just so I can hear that sound every once in a while. So that's just me though. Okay, like it's a little strange. Yeah, like RS snap, you hear the snap. It's like oof. that sounds good. It's like, anyways.
I know what you mean.
So are you guys getting Moonlight Bazaar?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have enough mystics, so
Yeah, Mystics to blow, man. That refund.
I regret
mm,
I regret summoning so much for Jugs, and
Yeah.
I I was really close to pity. I was at 34, and I finished the Guild Wars. I collected it. I was actually in call with Pantry and Jatai. I didn't think it was gonna happen, so I was just gonna do it for fun. I was like, oh, here's my Jugs Kisei. I was gonna just summon whatever, right? But then I actually end up summoning her. I'm like,
oh no,
maybe
no.
I should have saved that for Bazaar, just so like I don't need another cleaver. That's the thing. Like, so I regret that a bit.
Yeah, it's
Not to
because you
mention.
were on the call with Jatai.
Oh
You
yeah,
wouldn't count
that. Oh my god,
Oof,
you're actually
mistakes.
right.
You've misplaced.
Yeah, yeah.
You're actually right.
Do you feel like he's gonna be functional, Recc?
Um, I think, well, historically, they've tried so many times. They've tried to make mages that heal, or they've tried to make soul weavers that do damage to heal. Like, they've tried like every single, they've tried many variations of this. And I think the only part about Bazaar that could make it is I'm pretty sure his S2 will trigger like Rod and like
Oh wow.
and what's it called, Tome, just
Uh,
based on like how I think Aura like S2, like all these triggered S2s will work.
I
uh
see.
I think that could push him like over the edge to make it so that his
Right.
attack scaling on the healing is just kind of like extra, and then you
Mhm.
really only have to deal with like the fact his like base HP is so low. I mean, his
Mhm.
S3 is strong. Um, I don't think he's. I think if you're like saving mystics or something, I don't think he's like a day one pull. But I think he could have a spot. Um,
Do you think
maybe
he?
like maybe Chloe level.
I see. Do you think he will counter Bazaar in any way?
Yeah, that's the funny part, I guess. It's gonna be very difficult, I think, to gear him to like reliably counter Bazaar, or like your team in a way. I mean, for arena offense, if you have to use ML Bazaar, like your team's already gonna be slow.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, could I use Montmorency or something? Probably. Um,
Safer options.
yeah, exactly. I think with the right speed tuning, possibly like Lilias or ML Bazaar could be set on defense, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, Assuming like Bazaar basically becomes
On defense.
very
Wow.
meta.
ML Bazaar is Tamarin stats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
squishy. Like 4K health and 110 speed, something like that.
Okay. Mm.
900 attack.
Mhm. Huh. Actually, that makes me wonder with that dual attacks with Lilias.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's definitely full consideration with that.
It's like if that goes off like in Guild Wars, you're bringing one of the two units. Like, would that be a very annoying team, or that makes me wonder actually now. So,
Yeah,
are you
actually,
talking
man, that's a
about?
lot of animation time.
well, okay, okay,
True.
yeah, that's true. Hey, okay, I have to say I like his animation though. Like, I want him for his animation, but at the same time, like his skill 3 seems like a really like for me, it's personally for a RTA kind of thing. Like, I feel like he's a really good. He might be a very good RTA pick, um, based off of what your
Mm.
opponent is choosing. Like, it's like, oh, you see them picking something, so it's like a very good cleanse dispeller to immunity and push your team to kind of counter that kind of stuff. So, that's
Yeah, for
something to
sure.
think about, I guess. Yeah. I think once it gets closer and we have more information, like it's guaranteed when
Yeah.
he's being released, then I'll probably definitely
I'm
we'll
gonna,
talk
yeah,
over
I'm
that.
gonna put him for sure. I'm like 11 away from guarantee summon.
Oh, so you're gonna get him.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
close too.
yo, next podcast. Yeah, we're gonna pull him. You're gonna test him for us, and we're gonna ask you what you think.
We'll do a pulling party for ML Bazaar.
Oh,
It'll
Yeah.
take 5 seconds.
well, yo, I'm gonna pull like 5 times, and that's it. No bizarre.
Ah, you never know.
Ah,
All it takes one, man. All it takes one.
that'd be a yeah, that'd be a miracle if that happened for me. Okay. podcast pretty long today, so I'm probably not gonna open chat there. I'll leave it to that. So thank you for joining me for the podcast, Recc, Tiber, Syllara. Appreciate it. And thank you everyone in chat also for joining us for the podcast. And we'll see you next time on the next podcast, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for
slightly.
having us.
Yeah, and also me and Pansui were kind of in the Orange County area. So if you guys are in the area, hit us up. We'll go eat, hang out, do whatever. You know, I want to do some barbecue party. So later on when we have like RTA, I'm gonna be hosting.
Yo, IRL RTA
Yo,
tournaments. Yeah, you guys
I'll
hear
swing
this?
by for that. I'll swing by.
Yo, someone buy me a plane ticket, please.
Heck yeah.
God dang. All right.
That would be nice. Will you even be able to play friendly RTA?
I think so. Yeah, like the.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
pretty sure that if they come out with RTA without friendly RTA, yeah, I should be able to.
Yeah.
It's a friendly matches, I think.
Yeah, friendly matches
somewhere,
yeah.
but
Can they do friendly guild versus what? Friendly guild versus we can. Oh my
that
gosh.
That is what we need. We need friendly GVG.
We need fantasy guild, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for people who don't know, this like in the live Discord, this was a big thing that a bunch of the top guilds have been talking about for a long while. What does chat and the rest of the community think about a fantasy league draft for like maybe the top 10 guilds in global server where like everyone leaves their guild? Uh, such a stupid idea. Everyone leaves their guild, and then there's like captains, like 10 captains, and there's a draft. It's streamed. There's a draft for E7. Yes, there's a draft, and like you pick these teams, and there's like a $10 buy-in or something like that, and then winning guild gets the pot.
Yeah, like that sounds like such a fun idea, but you need to make sure you have the cooperation of not just the guild leaders, but all the guild members.
No sabotage, no loyalty. This is
yeah, like it's okay. It's so hard though. Like what each of the top 10, let's say 10 guilds, right? There's 28 members participating in a guild war. That's 280 people you have to manage and make sure 280 people have to be coordinated. Like,
but I mean, the thing with that, like, so much, like, at least I don't know, life. I'm assuming ambition is similar. Like, there is some coordination structure in it, right?
Yeah.
Like we know each other. Like, I think a lot of the top players in a GVG setting and an arena setting, like, we all know each other, right? Like,
yeah, I think definitely like some guilds off the top of my head I can think about would work. Recc, what is your input about Vayne even considering this idea at all?
Personally, I think it's a great idea. I think I would be totally down, but I can tell you, unless you're able to get Vayne to leave the game or something of that level, he will not agree to it.
Oh, God dang it.
I mean, you know, we just need a private server. So if enough people ask and force Smilegate to make us a private server so we can actually do this, or friendly guild wars.
Yeah, the whales need to speak up. Come on, guys.
Yeah, we need every single whale to speak up on this and to push for this, so we can.
We'll make a list. Heck yeah.
That it honestly sounds like a fun idea. I wish it could be done, but like coordinating, like even 10 guilds, which doesn't sound like a lot, is quite a tall order. Just like, I mean, like just the drafting part and getting everyone put into a guild on a Saturday, because everyone has to leave on the moment guild war is done on Saturday or something, and then you have to coordinate it so everything is drafted and everyone joins the guild before, like on Sunday, in preparation for the guild wars, and then setting defenses and then putting in so like it sounds really fun. I don't know if it's possible unless we have a private server or something, to like separate server to have this done.
I think we could do it if enough people were in. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but and at the same time, I mean, just the collaborative level would be a lot different. I mean, I think only really like Life and Us do like attack review to like the level, to like the same, type of expectation.
Mhm.
Maybe a couple others, but yeah, like
Off the top of my head, I would imagine like Veritas would be the same. Like,
Trap House maybe.
yeah, maybe Trap House. Yeah, maybe Trap
I
House.
don't know how they work.
no, I don't think so.
I'm
Trap House
not sure.
definitely not. I don't, or you mean like would you be willing to do it, or
Like,
or
would they like would the people in the guild like are they close enough that everyone like? Because I imagine like ambition in life, like everyone in the guild kind of knows each other, talk to each other, kind of thing. Like a lot closer in that kind of aspect. Like someone says something about something, everyone kind of can put in an input about it. Not like there wouldn't be a person who just doesn't respond, kind of thing.
I mean, like it's
yeah,
dynamic, but also like we're also very organized, right? Like, I think was that what you're going on, Rec? Like with the attack review and like sort of.
yeah. I mean,
Organization.
I guess it depends like who's kind of like heading it, how much like the money it matters in a way. Like personally, I
Yeah,
just think it would be like fun, like
that's
playing
true.
with like people from like other guilds, like Life
Yeah,
or Trap House or Veritas,
yeah.
everything.
Like
Get to know
Um,
each other for sure.
if there was no monetary value, I think it's a lot harder to push this. Unfortunately, like I mean, okay, so there's two things I think about this. Like I'm pretty sure most of the people in the top guilds do find the normal guild versus guild kind of boring, stale. So I think
Mhm.
a lot of them are like, yo, something new, we take it, right? Like they want to get in, but then it's also like getting the whole guild cooperation in. So
I
yeah.
mean, if we have we have a lot of very powerful coordinating minds in many different guilds, right? So like,
mm-hmm.
if we could get it to work. I feel. I don't know. Chat, if you like the idea, go knock on Smilegate's door. I'll do the same.
Or if you're in one of the the top guilds, let me know if you can coordinate everyone by any chance. Then I can definitely help try coordinate something. Have the draft on stream, and then stream. Well, streaming the battles won't really work, unfortunately, but at least yeah.
Man, streaming the draft would be crazy.
Like the draft would be funny. Like
On that.
being probably through Discord, just assigning roles to different guilds. Probably one Discord for the fantasy war, and each person has their own channel based on rules, kind of thing, right? Like it's just kind of picking people. But if you could spectate guild wars,
Whew, that'd be so fun.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gonna do some summons. If you guys want to stick around, watch the stream for the summons, for
Sounds
your
good.
summons. Yeah, feel free. But gonna end the podcast here.